So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what has at the minimum 5 to 10x brands conversion rates on their website. And this is off the back of myself starting an e-commerce business in 2013 with my brother. We've been in e-commerce for over 10 years now, and that business has gone on to do multiple 7 figures per year. So I've been doing this for a very long time. I've also helped over 200 e-commerce brands through my paid communities, my Ecom Blueprint and my Up-Level Mastermind as well. And so what I'm going to talk through is really the number one thing that if you get everything else wrong and this right, it will still knock your conversion rates out of the park and see massive increases. And it's something that in my opinion and my experience is completely underrated by most brand owners that come into our community that I speak to on a day-to-day basis. So let's go through exactly what it is and how you can make the most of it for your brand. What I'm talking through is certainly website conversion rates, right? So you can have a beautiful, pretty picture of your products. You can have a really great user experience. You can have a great checkout process. You can have all the things that would typically contribute to a high conversion rate. But if you're missing this one thing, it can literally turn your website into a ghost town in terms of sales, right? You get this right and it can really expedite your progress. And what I'm talking about specifically is social proof. Okay, so over 85% of people that come and buy from a brand, including yours, will be looking for social proof. Now, there's a number of things that contribute to social proof. So you can use that in your product imagery or videos, things like user-generated content or influencer content or affiliate content. But it also comes into consideration when it's things like reviews and how people talk about your brand and represent your brand. So there's a number of facets, but the core fundamental remains the same. Social proof sells, and it's so underrated, as I said, by the majority of brand owners that I speak with. Now, all I want you to do really is to put yourself in the position of a consumer of you, of a customer of you. Now, if they come into your store, or rather if you come into your own store as a newbie, have never seen your brand before, or even think about a recent circumstance where you bought something online, like what are you looking for? Okay, yes, you're looking for the product that serves your need, you're looking for the functionality, you're looking for the right price point, of course, but then what ultimately gets you over the line? Are you looking for test cases? Are you looking for other people's experiences? As I say, 8.5 times out of 10 people are. In fact, I would almost go as far as it's in the 9s for sure, right? I don't think many people would not care about seeing social proof or that other people have bought it like them before and got great results, right? You just have to look at products on Amazon. Are you going to buy the one that's got 30,000 reviews or 3? Are you going to go to the restaurant that's got 150 reviews or one that's got 1? Okay, again, you might have like 1 out of 10 circumstances where people take the punt on the lower review, and we've all got to start somewhere, I acknowledge that. But the point is to have the emphasis on reviews. You don't just suddenly get 1,000 reviews. Okay, so you need to start right from the grassroots. If you're right at the beginning, if you've been in business for less than 12 months, you should be going back to all the people that have purchased from you before and getting their reviews, doing whatever it takes. If you've been in business for a while, plus 12 months, and you've got a couple of hundred or even a couple of thousand customers, then again, same thing. You need to go back and get as many reviews as you possibly can and get as much social proofing as you possibly can. And so what we talk about within our community are strategies like you can even run purchaser competitions, right? You can actually literally run competitions and say, hey, I'm going to give a prize, a $500 voucher, for example, to the person who writes the best review or takes the best UGC content that I can actually use in ads or on my organic socials or in my email flows or on site, right? But the point being is by any means necessary, getting as much social content, social proof content as possible visually and written as well. And as I said before, this will literally 2 to 5 to 10x your conversion rate in terms of volume. Now, 2 really important factors, certainly like volume, as I mentioned. So the difference between 3 and 300 is huge. It's going to be way more than 100x a return on that. Again, the brands, if they were identical, even if the one with 3 reviews had less of a quality, if it was, higher quality or less price point, lower price point, you would still buy from the one with more reviews. So volume matters. The other one is recency matters, meaning how long ago they actually purchased. So you can see why this is really important from an ongoing basis. Why we do it consistently is because recency does matter. If you see a review, again, as a customer, and it was, say, more than even a month ago, you're going to kind of be like, are these guys still in business, or like what's actually going on? Whether if you see daily reviews, yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before, and it's for obviously volume, but then recency, then you're going to obviously naturally trust them, and you don't have to look any further for trust elements. They just need to know that the product is right for them and the price point fits. Even so, if it is right for them, they're willing to stretch a little bit more from a price point perspective for that validation, that satisfaction, or that trust. Okay. So what you have to do is really just assume that no one knows you, no one likes you, no one trusts you. You just have to have that assumption. It sounds really harsh, but it's the reality. There's no emotional connection when someone comes to your site. They don't know you. They certainly don't like you, and they certainly don't trust you yet. All right. So you just have to make sure that you're ticking all the boxes in all of your content to get them to the site. We've worked so hard. We've paid money to get them to our site, that our site needs to then go to do the job. Because I often talk about within our community something called selling the click, sell the click, right? What that actually means is the job of the email, the job of the ad, the job of the post is to sell people to your site. Right? Not actually sell them the physical product at that first interaction or fourth interaction it could be if they've seen you around the place, right? So you've sold them the click. That's achieved its objective. Now your website needs to sell the purchase. Or even before that, the homepage needs to sell them to get to the product. The product needs to sell them the add to cart, checkout, and then eventually the purchase as well. You have to think in stages like that, because otherwise you'll just go straight for the kill. That's not ready. This doesn't make sense. That you get a lot of abandoned site abandonments and a lot of abandoned carts, and be out of KPI in that. And then obviously that will result in low conversion rates, right? But what people are looking for fundamentally, almost above everything else, apart from obviously the product itself, is social proofing. People like them that have had a great experience. And if you want to show that visually, if you can get videos, that's the bee's knees. If you can get images, that's second in line. And then obviously written is third, but they all are valuable, all contribute. And of course, they become marketing stimulus in itself. You plug them across your ads, you plug them across your socials, in your email flows. Any correspondence, you should be using social proofing, because chances are that someone on the receiving end is someone like that person was, and they will find a connection with, okay, you and that positive experience or that outcome they actually achieved. All right. So that's the most underrated thing or unemphasized thing that I see brands, think about when it comes to their website. They're so busy doing other things. They're so busy focusing on getting more people to their site, which is totally understandable and totally normal. But unless someone says it out loud, like I'm saying it to you right now, you can't truly appreciate how important social proofing actually is. And that's what I'm doing for you right now. So you need to have a consistent strategy to just go back retrospectively, incentivize as needed, do anything that you possibly can to just build up your reviews. If you've got apps, for example, send them all out again. As I said, run competitions, literally just pound the pavement, call people, email people, incentivize people, whatever you need to do, get that up to that 50 to 100 to 200 reviews as soon as possible. Right? And then you'll have a baseline. But again, you need to continue your efforts of getting social proof through the door, because every effort will count. As I said, volume and recency, they're the two most important things when it comes to the social proofing side of things. And bigger picture, again, you can use it in other areas across not just your site, but your emails, your socials, your ads, everything like that. So it's a big flywheel effect. It will actually stimulate way more sales and stimulate even more people to write reviews and just continue to talk about it. So it's the big snowball that will compound over time. Okay. So that's all I want to emphasize. Hopefully that's given you some, I guess, newfound focus and I guess, experience with when it comes to what's important to converting traffic. Nothing better. Nothing better. All right. So look, I hope this video was valuable. If it was valuable, please give it a like, hit me a subscribe, and I'll be producing a lot more videos like this. If you want to know more about what we do and how we help e-commerce brands, there's a link below. You can click on that and get some more information there. But other than that, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you watching till the end, and I'll catch you in the next video.